Welcome back to the channel. I'm glad you are here. I got a couple of videos in the works right now. One of them is the Western Conference Finals preview, in which I do a deep dive between the Lakers and the Nuggets, look at individual matchups, look at team schemes, and see who will come out on top. This video is about a specific player in that series who is an X factor. His play will have a large part in determining the outcome of this series, and that's Jamal Murray. This man has went nuts in the bubbles, one of the bubble's largest benefactors, man. His production has skyrocketed across the board, and he's been integral to the Nuggets, on this amazing, probably historical playoff run. It's historical, man, and he's exactly what the Nuggets needed, man. Right now my bracket's busted, but when I was picking my people for the Western Conference Finals game, I had the Lakers and the Clippers. The Nuggets were not even a dark horse candidate. That was the Rockets. My biggest issue with the Nuggets is that I didn't see them have any elite shot creator, any elite shot maker off that, like a player who can go get his own bucket at any time. They had an amazing center, once in a generational type center. They have one of the league's best depth. Really, between them, the Raptors and the Clippers, it's a toss-up to who has the best depth. I think after this, maybe you give the edge to the Nuggets. But they had all of that, right? They have great three-point shoot. They have great team defense. They have an amazing coach. But the game slowed down, and you need that transcendent player, or you need that elite player who can go and get you a bucket throughout the stretch of the game. And Jamal Murray has shown he has that in his bag and more. One of the biggest successes they had is that two-man game with Jamal Murray and Jokic, where time and time again with these three-point shooters, we see high ball screens near the half-court line, forcing the defenders, because they're good at three-point shooting, they force the defenders to guard them up, and then they can run towards the basket with a huge head of steam. And if the defenders don't show enough, they'll back up and shoot that three, step back and shoot that three. Jamal Murray has done that time and time again, and this becomes 5 times more dangerous when you have Jokic on that short roll, or even Jokic has done an amazing job adding the three-point shot to his arsenal. And sometimes the defenders have to stay with him, have to stay attached and respect that aspect of his game, opening the floor for these drives and kicks. But yeah, you saw Jamal Murray in the first round eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner against Rudy Gobert. He had no chance. He's not agile enough. He's not fast enough to get him on the out. And then he would leave so much space on these drop coverages, forcing his other teams to overcompensate. And Murray's a competent enough passer to kick it out, or he does his best to go roaring up, and then Murray shoots past him, or he gets out of position and Murray dishes it to Jokic on the short roll, and it creates more trouble from there. That kind of got mitigated, even though in the second round, Harrell played horrid defense. The whole team played pretty bad team defense against the Nuggets down the stretch, right? There were some stretches where they would get 20 straight points in a row, but down the stretch, they played pretty poorly. And Murray, for the most part, has been dormant, has been quiet for the series. He was still getting these looks, but the size and speed of like Kawhi and Paul George really daunted him. Especially one of the lone changes the Clippers made to try to stop Murray was to put Kawhi on Jokic and leave Paul George on Murray. So no matter what, if the two-man game got them to switch, usually that would be a win for the Nuggets. Usually that's a big win for Murray. But it really mitigated that. Though on those plays, Murray will consistently give it to Jokic. Kawhi, Jokic is that type of transcendent player. Kawhi needs help. They go to double Jokic, boom, a three-point shot is open. So while that did a good job on restricting Murray's production, It opened up stuff for the rest of the team. And then it got to a point where they couldn't continue doing that. And then Murray said, okay, it's time for me to cook in Game 7. What will we see against the Lakers? I anticipate, Anthony Davis is going to stay on Jokic. Actually, no, up until this point, the Lakers haven't really used their centers. We could see the Lakers use Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee into like a big roster, a big man lineup. It could happen to where you don't want to use AD on Jokic. Maybe if they do an off-ball pin down or something like that. And then they'll probably put Rondo or KCP on Murray. What the Lakers did to Harden, they're going to do to Murray fivefold. Like, that's what I'm anticipating here. And Murray's a great player, but they pretty much neutralized Harden. Even though he still had his game, they did have Westbrook on the floor, which just messed up the whole floor of their offense. But the Lakers have the personnel to come up and hedge hard and then flash to the open shooter. Though with Jokic in the lineup, and that could change a lot of things, man. But yeah, that's all I have to say, man. Stay on the lookout for Murray. He needs a nickname.